A very famous New Yorker is using her social media platform to bring attention to climate change. Actor Zazie Beetz has starred in blockbuster films like Joker and Deadpool 2, in between her role on the hit TV show Atlanta. But when the pandemic hit, she teamed up with her partner, actor-writer David Risdall, to launch a passion project close to both of their hearts.
I want to welcome you to the first show of Zazie Talks Climate.
Raw and real. Zazie Talks Climate is a labor of love for actors Zazie Beetz and David Risdall.
We wanted to just keep it as honest as possible in that way and avoid sort of an overly produced feel, because we just wanted it to be clear, like, this is from us, from our hearts, and we're giving that to you.
Lady Luck, take the wheel.
Both have been making a big splash on film and television over the last few years.
Am I dead?
And the couple will appear together on the big screen in the upcoming feature 9 Days. But it's their work on a passion project made for the small screen, focusing on climate change, that has kept them busy during the pandemic.
What is the process like of booking guests? What do you guys do?
So we partnered with NRDC on this, and then it gave us this huge list of people who are doing the work, and then we just kind of went through and made notes.
The couple specifically wanted to focus on Black and brown climate activists like Pashawn Murray.
It's something simple that we can do that will actually help, us sustain the soil.
The founder and CEO of Detroit Dirt,
What if we use our food waste for a greater purpose?
an urban composting program working to create a zero-waste mindset.
I think because a lot of the climate movement feels pretty white, it doesn't always feel like there is, I think, a space for Black and brown voices to exist in the platform. And we just wanted to point out that that just wasn't true, that there are people that, look like me and that are actively doing the work, have been doing it for years.
Were either of you surprised by anything that you learned from one of your guests?
I think it's episode 2 with Dr. Ayanna Elizabeth Johnson. She's a marine biologist and was telling us about the huge role that the ocean plays in essentially functioning as the Earth's lungs.
So the exchange of heat and moisture between the ocean and the air actually drives our climate.
That truly shocked me. I did not know that. And
David, was there a particular guest for you that was like, holy smokes?
Yeah, Mary Anais Hegler, our first one, talked about how the carbon footprint was really pushed out there by the fossil fuel companies to make us feel guilty.
I often say, the oil and gas industry has gaslit us into thinking that this is our fault.
The seeds of the show were planted more than 2 years ago, when a 2018 report released by the UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, or IPCC, called for drastic changes to head off global warming.
I think that freaked a lot of people out. We've always been, we've always loved nature and the environment, but I think that really stirred us into, we want to have kids one day, we want to have a future, and we're like, we have to do something.
Research on the New York City environmental group eventually led Zazie, who grew up in Washington Heights, to speak at a rally in front of City Hall last year in support of the Climate Mobilization Act, which aims to reduce the carbon emissions of large city buildings.
It all happened organically. They're like, would you want to speak at the thing? And I feel like it's just like who you are, Aziz. Like you everything comes from a real place, and the idea of celebrity is so strange.
people always think like actors love public speaking. I was freaking out. Right, David? I was freaking out about it, but ultimately it was actually really empowering to kind of go through with it, and has allowed me to feel even empowered in something like doing this climate change show. Like, it is outside of my comfort zone to be interviewing people. It makes me very nervous. I want to say with this show, frankly, I do the least work. Like, I just set up camera and go, and David has been the one emailing, and he edits it, and I just he sends it to me and be like, any thoughts? And I give notes, and he dives in, and so he's really the one putting in the hours and hours behind the scenes on this.
Friends have also pitched in, helping to add closed caption for the hearing impaired. And the intro music was donated by their friends from the band Black Grapefruit.
Where do you see this going? Because it sounds like there's a lot of work to be done, even though It's on Instagram, but perhaps, you know, maybe gets a bigger platform.
Once COVID's done, I think it'd be amazing to watch Zazie go to these places. I mean, it makes it more visual. We definitely have ideas for where to go with that, and this is kind of just laying the framework.
The reaction to the show has been overwhelmingly
Positive. I think people are really I think people are enjoying it and feeling like they're learning things.
To check out Zazie Talks Climate, visit Zazie Beetz' Instagram page. And the couple also makes a donation to the organization they feature, and they plan to release 8 episodes for the first run of show. And it's personal for them, this whole thing. It's a family affair with Zazie's mom, Michelle, and David's brother, Isaac, also pitching in to help them out. I love it. I had never met her before this. She is lovely. He is lovely. I love the work they're doing.
Yeah.
And I love that during the pandemic, people figure out different ways to capitalize on what they do well.
Yeah,
But
it's
she did.
clearly a passion project for them.
I also like that she has a huge following,
Yes.
and she's using that platform to raise awareness of such an important issue
Yeah.
that may be neglected.